How you doing, folks? We're back at the live stream. My name is Daryl Prale. If you've not seen me before, where have you been? Because we have been streaming non-stop. As we've mentioned before, and I'll say it again, it is a non-stop parade of subject matter experts here at the Enterprise Connect in the no jitter situation. So we're pleased to have you joining us. Guess who I've got here? Any guesses? Let me tell you, it's Mark Winther of IDC. Now, is it Winther or Winther?
It's Winther.
Winther. See, and how many times does that happen to you? Like every time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So are you blasé about that now? Is it just
Yeah,
normal?
pretty much. Yeah.
Was there a time in your life when you were bitter about that?
Probably I was less blasé. I wouldn't say bitter, but yeah.
Less blasé. That's very articulate how you phrase that. All right. So now you're with IDC. Now, I know that you guys are an amazing research analyst firm and more. But for our clients and our customers watching this, perhaps you can give us a little backdrop of IDC and then specifically your role in the firm.
Yeah, sure. Well, IDC is a global research and consulting company.
Yep.
We focus on IT and telecom. That's all we do. And we're global. We're all around the world, 70 offices in different countries. We have over 1,000 analysts. My role is in our consulting practice. I lead the telecom consulting practice, and as part of that practice, have developed a lot of research and done a lot of projects with clients on communications APIs and advanced voice and networking. So that's how I got to this.
How long have you been there? Just curious.
I've been with IDC over 20 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
So then you've seen a lot of transformation and maturation happen in this space.
A lot of changes.
So then,
Yeah.
based on that pedigree, how many of these shows have you attended?
Well, it's funny, I attended some about 10 plus years ago.
Yep.
And then there was a hiatus
Yep.
of about 6 years, and I started coming again 3 years ago.
So what's your take on this year's show versus in the last couple years?
Well, this year is great because there's a lot on APIs.
Yeah.
Last year we kind of started with
Yep.
APIs, and this year we have a full track through all 3 days. So it's a lot more exciting. And I think, what we're seeing in this show really represents it.
The landscape has changed dramatically. And we're seeing that in new players at the keynotes. We're seeing that in the conversations. It's amazing. Now, you mentioned the APIs. There's a whole track on that. And you specifically focus on communication APIs and platform as a service, or CPaaS. I got to ask you, so why is that a hot topic right now?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a hot topic because there's a frustration with communications. Frustration by users, by businesses, because it gets in the way. There's too much friction. We probably all use 10 to 15 communications tools as individuals in our work environment. And that means we are system integrators. You got to figure out the password, you got to figure out if you download a client, you got to figure out which person you're communicating with likes which tool.
That's right.
And you know what I'm talking about, personal cell phone, I'm talking about the desk phone, I'm talking about Skype, WebEx,
that's right.
Audio conferencing, Slack. We pick and choose these because they're out there and we can, but the result is it's a fragmented environment. There's loss of any coherent database of these communications channels. There's no log, there's no audit possibility. So there's a lot of frustration, and it's a burden on the user. And that problem is compounded when you're talking about customer interaction, right? So you got the workforce and the customer interaction, and you have no coherent core understanding of what's going on because there are all these fragmented channels that are silos.
I feel like you're in my head because every time I get a new client, it's like I get another access to another Slack account, right? And now this one likes to Skype, this one likes to use another video platform, this one likes to use another platform. Those sometimes video, but often it's just audio. Some like the mobile phone, some like the desktop phone. And then if you change computers, you're doing it all over again, right?
That's exactly right. And so you got that problem with just thinking about the communications environment that we live in every day. But we also live in an application every day.
Yeah.
If you're a salesperson, you live in Salesforce.
That's right.
If you're a lawyer, you live in your practice management system all day. But communications is over here. Why isn't it embedded into the applications you live in and work in every day?
Yeah.
Why do you have to, okay, look up a number there and then go make a call here and look back and try to remember the context? Why can't you click to call right in that application? Or better yet, you don't even have to do it. The system will automatically trigger a call or a message informing somebody of some event. So you got these two frustrations here. There's something broken in this space. This is where communications APIs can come in and solve this fragmented problem.
It's so funny to hear you say that, because I know that a lot of the people I work with, just simply the act of conducting business, to your point, right? Let's say you get a new lead in on the website. They want a message sent to them on Slack. They want a task created in Salesforce.com. They want an email sent to their inbox, and they want it automatically added to a Google Sheet, because they all work different ways, and we got to collaborate as a team. And this guy likes Google Sheets, but this person lives over here in Slack, and it's nuts.
It's nuts.
And the API becomes the driving influencer when we're picking technology stacks, because
now they're very predominant.
Yeah.
But there's going to be more.
Yep.
I guarantee you there will be more communications channels, tools that come in. So we're never going to be able to control that and say, okay, you can only use these and no others. That's not going to happen. What you can do though, and this is where the APIs come in, is you can embed communications right into the applications that you use all the time. So you have the context of what's going on with that call. You got the convenience of click to dial, click to call, click to message. And you can create this common platform underneath all of the channels that can be this place where you aggregate the data and have a holistic view of customer interactions, of team collaborations, something like that. So it's not about controlling the channels, it's about creating the platform that allows you to manage all those conversations and track them and analyze them, apply machine learning to them to get smarter, add sentiment analysis, whatever you want, right?
So as you talk about that platform, I guess the question is, do most of the major vendors at least have an API strategy? And if they do, is there a big difference between one to the other?
Yeah, there is a big difference. You walk around the exhibit floor here, you listen to the presentations, everybody's got an API.
Yeah.
Everybody. Now, there's a
because
big
that's the marketing buzzword you got to have, though,
because
right?
you got to have it.
You got to have it.
You got to have it. But there's a big difference between having a product and then an API on the side versus where API is your mainstream product offering.
Right.
There's a big difference. So the companies that we identify as CPaaS, Communication Platform as a Service companies, are companies for whom the API is their mainstream product, right? It's not an add-on they have over here to help people do integrations or some customized setups of their core product. So that differentiates them right there, right? If it's the mainstream product, it's strategic, they invest in it directly, they put a lot of wraparound capabilities around it, and the important thing is, we talk about API, but the API is just the beginning.
Yep.
I mean, an API is simple, it's 25, 30 lines of code, that's an API, anybody can do that. It's the wraparound, the support, the tutorials, the helper libraries, the use cases, access to other partners who have already worked with it. It's those kinds of capabilities that make it friction-free to work with it, and very easy for a developer to take that API primitive element and build it into a solution.
So it's funny you mention that, because a lot of the people, when we work with them, if I were to say to them, oh, it has an API, there's two reactions. One is, yeah, it's an API, it's something that's been bolted onto the side. Or it's like, $signs, API, custom integration is going to be expensive. It's the vendors who have all that supporting infrastructure around it, all the tutorials, all the sample templates, all the out-of-the-box integrations with the major players. Those are the vendors that they go, oh, okay, and that objection, so A, you've got an API, B, I can use this, I'm cool, next. So that's what we see a big thing.
And as I say, everybody has APIs now, but you got to show people what you can do with it, right? It's not enough to say, here's an API, go build.
Right.
You got to show them what you can do. Here's how you can build a call flow engine that you can adapt and change on the fly.
Right.
That's unheard of if you're working with a traditional call director from a Genesys or a Cisco.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, last question here. Do enterprise comms people, maybe building on this discussion you're having about packaging it, do the communications people themselves need to start working more closely with their internal software development team to kind of package that all up?
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, APIs are for developers, but those developers are web developers.
Right.
Right, they're building websites, they're building mobile apps, right? They're engaging with Snapchat and Facebook and others. That's what they're doing. They don't know anything about communications. Latency, throughput, voice quality. They don't know that. So I kind of compare it to the difference between an IT person who understands, a developer, developer, who understands load balancing on a website. Right. They understand load balancer, how it works. Communications people, on the other hand, they understand what a session border controller is.
Right.
And how that manages your voice. The two are completely separate, opposite, don't understand each other. Right? So what we got to do here, and what these communications API platforms are doing, is bridging those worlds. Right? They're making it possible for web developers to work in this communications environment that has different performance requirements, et cetera.
All right, now I know you've been busy already with the show with various panels that you've been involved with, and I understand you have another one this afternoon, is that right?
Yeah, we got one more coming up that is all about when to use APIs and when not to use APIs.
Isn't that wild? We're talking about APIs and you have a session on APIs.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing how that works. All right, guys, if you liked this conversation, because I loved it, because I feel the pain that Mark is talking about, then you need to make time on your schedule to attend his session. It's this afternoon. In the meantime, if you don't have time for that, check him out, Mark Winther, TH, not a T, at IDC. Thanks, Mark. Well, had a good time.
Thank you, Darren.
See you soon, folks. We'll be back with the next interview subject shortly.